Let's be real, screens are everywhere. They're an unavoidable part of our lives. But have you ever stopped to wonder what that constant connection is actually doing to our brains? Well, we're about to dive into the science. And what we're finding is, well, it's fascinating. And honestly, a little concerning.
So, this is the big question, right? It's on everyone's mind. Whether we're thinking about ourselves or our kids, we all kind of have that nagging feeling that we're probably overdoing it. But where's the actual line? And what really happens when we cross it? Well, it turns out the data is starting to paint a very, very clear picture. Okay, this number right here, this is a serious wake-up call. Recent studies are showing that nearly a quarter, 24.4% of all adolescents meet the criteria for social media addiction. And we're not just talking about a bad habit. This is a compulsive behavior, and it has some deep, deep roots in our neurology. To really get why, we need to look at what's happening inside our heads.
To really understand the consequences of our digital lives, we've got to pop the hood, We're going to explore the mechanics of what is going on inside your brain every single time you pick up your phone. So our brains are hardwired with this thing called a reward system. It evolved over thousands of years to encourage behaviors that help us survive, like eating or connecting with other people. But here's the twist. Modern tech, and especially social media, has figured out how to hijack this ancient pathway for its own benefit.
And this is exactly how it works. It's a loop. It all starts with a simple buzz. That's the cue. Your brain immediately starts craving a potential reward. So what do? You check your phone. And maybe you get a little reward, a dopamine hit. But here's the sneaky part. Because those rewards are unpredictable, just like a slot machine, our brains get even more hooked, making that urge to check again and again almost impossible to resist. And this is where things get really serious. This isn't just about feelings or habits. We're talking about actual physical changes to our brains. Studies on adults with excessive screen time are showing a thinning of the cerebral cortex. That's the brain's outer layer, the part responsible for really important stuff like memory, decision-making, and handling our emotions. We're also seeing less gray matter, which is the tissue that helps us process information. It shows just how deep our digital habits can cut.
I think this quote from Maurice Loeffler at Stanford just nails it. That endless scroll, it feels good in the moment, right? It's easy, it's satisfying, but it's basically mental junk food. It's giving you zero real nutrition for your brain, leaving it totally starved for the kind of deep engagement that actually helps it grow and stay healthy. So, our brains are getting rewired by these digital dopamine hits and starved of real substance? What are the real-world consequences? Well, let's take a look at how this all translates into a pretty significant toll on our mental health.
I mean, just look at this chart. The number of kids and teens in the US diagnosed with ADHD has jumped a lot. Now, to be clear, research isn't saying that screens cause ADHD. But what it is saying is that the constant, super fast-paced rewards from our devices can seriously pump up the symptoms, like impulsivity and inattention. It's making it way harder for brains to focus in the real, slower world.
And the hit to our social and emotional lives is just profound. These platforms that were designed to connect us, a lot of the time they're doing the exact opposite. They create this pressure cooker of constant comparison, this nonstop fear of missing out, and a culture where our self-worth gets tied to likes and followers. It's basically a perfect storm for triggering and worsening anxiety and depression, especially for teenagers. And if you want a really striking example of how our digital world is bleeding into our physical one, get this. Snapchat dysmorphia is a real term for a growing trend. People are getting so used to seeing their digitally perfected, filtered faces that their actual reflection starts to feel wrong or flawed. This is leading to a rise in body dysmorphic disorder and people actually getting cosmetic surgery to look more like their impossible, filtered selves. And the damage isn't just in our heads. All this time staring at screens has a very real physical cost for our bodies and a serious developmental cost for our kids. This table really lays out the stark reality. For kids, we're seeing clear links to things like obesity, terrible sleep, and even delays in learning crucial social skills. And for us adults, the consequences can get even more severe. We're talking everything from chronic tech neck to a higher risk for really devastating conditions like dementia and stroke down the road. Okay, I know that was a lot of bad news, but here is a simple, actionable fix you can start doing right now to fight back against at least one of those physical problems: digital eye strain. The American Academy of Ophthalmology recommends this super easy 20-20-20 rule. It's easy to remember, and it gives your eyes a much needed. All right, now for what I think is the most important part of this whole thing. It's not all doom and gloom, I promise. We actually have the power to change our relationship with technology. So let's look at some real, concrete strategies to take back our attention and build some healthier habits. When it comes to our kids, the single most powerful tool we have is simply modeling the behavior we want to see. The Washington State Department of Social and Health Services points this out. Parents who set an example by putting their own devices down and actually engaging in the real world, well, that's absolutely crucial. And here are some more great, practical tips from that same source. Things like creating really clear rules and having fun alternatives ready to go are key. And I absolutely love this last one. Don't be afraid of boredom, because it's in those quiet, boring moments that creativity and imagination really have a chance to fire up, something a screen just can't replicate. Okay, now let's talk about our own habits. This quote is so powerful because it gets to what's physically happening in our bodies. When you wake up and the first thing you do is shove a screen in your face, your nervous system basically registers it as a threat. It's like seeing a bear. It jolts you into a fight-or-flight response, and your system gets flooded with stress hormones before your day has even really started.
So the bottom line is this: that first hour of your day matters a lot. Experts at Stanford Lifestyle Medicine are strongly recommending you make that first hour a totally screen-free zone. It seems like a small change, but it can completely alter the entire path of your day, shifting you out of a state of anxious reaction and into one of calm and intention.
And that's really the question you have to ask yourself, isn't it? Do you want to start your day instantly reacting to a flood of emails, notifications, and bad news from around the world? Or do you want to start it on your own terms, feeling grounded, feeling in control? That choice you make in that first hour is incredibly powerful. So instead of reaching for the phone, maybe try reaching for one of these. Go for a quick walk, put on some music, read a chapter of a book, or just sit and enjoy your coffee while looking out the window. By replacing that one habit, you're not just avoiding something negative, you're actively feeding your brain that nutrition it needs, setting a positive tone for your entire day, and really truly taking back control of your digital life.